Hello, everybody. Happy July 1st. Dave is way zoomed in. Hi, Dave.
Sorry, I'm screwing around.
You're tinkering. Happy first Thursday of the month. That rare time where the first Thursday of the month is also the first day of the month. It's Canada Day. Happy Canada Day to the Canadians if you've joined in. It's Independence Day this weekend in the US, so that's exciting. I'm Maddy Leger. I'm a PM on the Xamarin team. Dave, if you want to introduce yourself. I don't know. Ask John.
Ask John. Let's chat, John. Hey, everybody. Dave Ortinau, program manager with .NET and .NET MAUI. And what I'm screwing around with is this. Hang on. Boop, boop. So this is Lego Dave. Lego Dave is also doing a live stream right now. I don't know what channel Lego Dave is on, but I have to believe it's .NET and MAUI related. So maybe, I don't know, search, find that. But don't do it now because you're here with us.
Beautiful. And we also have a special guest today, the amazing Olia. Hello.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Olia Gavrysh, and I'm PM on .NET team focusing on desktop. So that's WPF, MAUI.Forms, everything desktop related.
Nice. That's awesome. Olia is like the queen of Windows development tools. Like anytime I have a question, not just .NET, like all across the board, I'm like, Olia will know what's up. And very excitingly, we have been, are we looking at a pants cam for...
Lego Dave has
Dave's Lego does not have a pants cam.
This is the aforementioned pants cam. This is the camera formerly known as pants cam.
Oh, I see.
It's called pants cam on my stream decks.
That's pretty good. I like it. We are simulcast streaming or whatever across the world to 2 different YouTubes, Twitch and Periscope. And like I say every month, I really don't know if anyone watches us on Periscope, but if you are, hello, thank you for joining.
Let us know if you are. We would really like to know who you are.
Yeah. Seems like a great streaming service. We keep doing it, so that's good. We have a bunch of stuff for you today. If you are new here, we usually talk about some blogs. We talk about some PRs that the community has put up. Oh, we do have one person from Periscope. Hello.
Nice. Woo!
Perfect. And then we have Dave is going to give us a little bit of a MAUI update, and then Olia is going to do a demo of an amazing new feature that you might have seen called Live Preview. Mm-hmm. It's very fancy. Yeah. A preview of Live Preview, if you will. A live preview of Live Preview. This is exactly. It's a long weekend, so this is my last thing that I really have to put my brain into for the next 3 days.
For all of us here, you're going to get a pretty goofy live stream from us today. More than usual.
Oh, yeah. That's how we like it. So, alrighty. Without further ado, posting all the links in the chat, share my screen. I am on Windows 11, and you can't tell because there's no taskbar, but I am. It's very cool. I've been enjoying it a lot. Except I don't know how to turn my notifications off. So if you, even though it's on focus mode, Teams still send me notifications. Even if I think I've quit Teams, I'm still getting notifications. So if you hear something, that's what it is, and I'm sorry. But it's really pretty. It's very round. Windows 11 is round. First and foremost, Dave and I have some great shirts on.
Yes.
Using Microsoft.MAUI. I've got the light mode and he's got the dark mode on. So
I think this is actually not dark mode. I think this is espresso.
Ooh.
And because the dark mode, I have that one too, and it's kind of a darker gray or like a dark blue.
I feel like there were a bunch of options. I don't know. But if you know Gerald or the Xamarin Community Toolkit or any of the cool stuff that he does, he set these up for benefiting girls who code and Black girls code. So I don't know what it means available for 13 more days because it said that when I ordered it like a month ago. But they're there. Unisex and women's cut, just so you know. Thank you, everybody. So check them out. All the proceeds are going to go to these charities. And also he has a bunch of other stuff on here, like a mug. Very cool.
And
stuff.
This is not our design. We didn't do this. This was a design from William Rodriguez in Brazil. And
yeah.
He submitted the artwork to the .NET Foundation swag repo, which y'all can, if anybody has a design idea, feel free to contribute. And you never know. gets turned into a thing, and now it's awesome.
Yeah.
So go be awesome. Yeah. So I see on here the far right one, espresso. Okay. So it is dark mode espresso.
Okay.
Flavor.
I think I have light mode gray. You guys can watch me online shop. Yes. Light mode dark heather gray. That's this one. So cool. So I put that in the URL list. I'll send that link again in case you just joined. So yeah, that's the first link on there. Check it out. Feel free to buy 1 or 1 million. Might as well. And let's take a look at some of these blogs. So I saw Squeaky in the chat already. Squeaky, you're my first blog of the week or the month. So congratulations. Technically not a community member, but Squeaky works on our customer advisory team. So she works with customers and makes them successful, helps them be more successful using Xamarin and .NET MAUI. And Squeaky is also the person working on the .NET Upgrade Assistant tool support for .NET MAUI. So we've had a lot of questions about whether or not you'll be able to use the .NET Upgrade Assistant. And you will, because Squeaky's going to do it for you because she's the best. But she also wrote this cool blog about implementing Chromecast, like sharing and stuff with Xamarin.Forms. So the Cast app. So definitely check this out. I have a Chromecast. I love it. I did not know this was a thing we could even do. So now I kind of want to go play around with it. But it's Squeaky. She's great. You can find her on Twitter. She's very friendly. She also live streams a ton too. So check that one out. All right. Next, we got Daniel here. .NET MAUI Preview on Mac. So Dave will show you some preview stuff. Not going to get too much into what is in the latest .NET MAUI previews. But one thing you might have noticed is that Mac is still coming along. So Visual Studio for Mac is rebuilding its UI from the ground up to be native. So instead of using GTK Sharp and all that stuff, they're using native Cocoa. And there's a lot of stuff happening there. So we're trying to focus on that and getting that to work before we start putting all the .NET 6 stuff in it. It will be there when Visual Studio for Mac 2022 ships, but it's not there yet. So if you're a Mac user and you want to start playing around with .NET MAUI, the best course of action right now is the command line in Visual Studio Code. The command line support is awesome. So definitely check it out. Catalyst has been really good. Catalyst, I think Dave has been saying like Catalyst is probably the best thing in terms of inner dev loop time right now.
Yeah.
So.
Very, very fast to just do a change and rebuild it. Of course, once we get hot reload, that's even faster, but yeah.
Yeah. So Daniel went and outlined the steps that he used here. So you can go through and follow that. I'm sure we'll put a blog up or something at some point. I do see a question in the chat. There's no template for MAUI in VS 2022. So first, check that you have the SDKs installed because VS 2022 is not pulling in .NET 6 yet. It will. So you can use MAUI check, which is this tool right here, to make sure everything's there. Secondly, there's a bug that sometimes, even if the templates are there, they are not getting loaded into Visual Studio 2022 Preview 1 or whatever the one is out right now. So we are fixing it. It's being tracked. But Dave also put in the chat .NET new MAUI-N, and then your app name is how you can do it from the command line. So check that out. Okay, here's one. So if anyone, I think I saw Brandon in here earlier. Brandon loves C#9 and all the C# features. But this is a blog by Dennis about updating to C#9 with a successful CI build, which I liked because I like to do a bunch of changes and then push it to CI and then everything breaks and then I ignore it. So it was actually pretty simple. I mean, it's literally just updating a CS proj file. And then there's this one error that you might get in your CI. And then you can just like reuse MS build or whatever to fix it. I do break all the builds. We have the wonderful Jeff Fritz in the chat today, who also just ordered a .NET MAUI shirt. Nice. But I do break a lot of builds. That's kind of my calling card. I once broke the Visual Studio build with a string change, so I'm very proud of that. So yeah, check this one out. We have been having a lot of questions about like what MAUI is going to look like with CI/CD, and it's something we like don't really have a good answer for yet, which is good because we are going to work on it because we know people want it. So check that one out. Okay, Sharpnado, gotta love it. I literally, like when I was reading this blog earlier, I went like this and I couldn't figure it out. But then I realized there's like a normal GIF down here. Sharpnado is awesome if you haven't used it. Lots of really good UI controls. This is just a horizontal list view with some really good wiggling. And the nice thing about this is it's kind of like community stand-up inception, because Sharpnado called out a PR that the community put in to his repo. So you can go check out Mr. Onion. And then I guess he did it for funsies and contributed it back. So we love our community. Y'all are the best. Yeah. And we love Sharpnado too, because it makes everything really easy. Okay, 2 more. I'm flying this week, I know, but we have a lot of stuff to get to. And there were about a bajillion blogs this month. I don't know what you people have been up to. Clearly the summer, like, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to blog 8,000 times a day. So it was very hard to narrow these down. Accessibility has been a hot topic. So we have shown Rachel King's accessibility blog series from the devblogs.microsoft.com before on this. And if you go to the previous Xamarin Community Stand-Ups links list of links, which is now going across the bottom, you're able to find that somewhere. But one of our awesome community members, Leah Marie, has done a little bit of a deep dive here on, tab order and making things enabled and disabled, and kind of how you can like really simply just get started with making your apps more accessible. And of course, when we talk about accessibility, we mean all types of things. But I believe in this blog, she's mostly talking about things like screen readers and stuff, so that folks who are visually impaired can navigate their app without issue. Finally, boop, code quality and performance. Everyone loves it. This one's from Luis. So I believe he gave a talk on this. I don't know if the conference was called Code Quality and Performance or if it was a talk at, I don't know. But he was amazing and blogged it also for us. So you don't have to watch the video if you're like me and you have no attention span. You can just go through and look at all these beautiful sections. And there's a whole bunch of stuff he covers in here. We're talking about like releases and stuff and startup configurations, which are things we get questions about all the time. And of course, some of the good quality best practices as well. So that's it. That's all I got. That's probably like my world record in terms of URL timing. So I'll put this back in the chat. And then I'm going to turn it over to the one, the only, David, for that.
I know, right? So I was just, I don't know, I was goofing around on Twitter while you were talking. And Chris Boot sharing his awesome new shirt with us. Yet another color, by the way.
Nice.
So plenty of colorways. At least I think that's a different color. Yeah, it looks darker. So if you also have .NET MAUI, Microsoft.MAUI swag, post a picture on Twitter and Maddy will share it with everybody. I don't know. And then maybe you'll gain Twitter followers. Do we know what that says? What does that say, Olia? You're muted. Muted.
I was just looking at comments and I did not mean to put it all the way up on the screen. But yeah, I know what that says. That says that the viewer is always happy to see you.
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Everybody. Well, that's fun. Feel free to post anything you want to the screen. You're part of our team now. So
right.
All right. Who else said stuff? I don't know. Nope, nobody else.
Oh, it's just me liking all your stuff now that my screen isn't shared.
I actually need that. Come back. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Look at that Windows 11. Woo!
I know, right? What's going on with that?
Yeah.
Where's all your stuff? Oh man, that's a lot of Windows.
Let's do it this way. All right. So closing Twitter. Let's go talk about some stuff. So, always good to go over to the community toolkit and see what everybody has been up to. And this is one I was really excited about. And it kind of fits with the whole Windows 11 theme of rounded corners, right? So Vladislav has added rounded corners to the snack bar toasts. So, woohoo, and a smiley face, which I imagine that was photoshopped on afterwards, but who knows? Not my choice of colors also, by the way. If you stare at that little smiley face, your brain starts to fry. Just everybody stare at it for a moment. So that's great. Now it's an open PR, and so hopefully coming soon. But one of the first things I noticed when I started playing with the snack bar was give me styling options, which anybody who has worked with me on the team knows that's one of the first things I'm going to do is go explore every option to style that puppy. So that's awesome. That's coming. This is an interesting one from Andre, who, should get lots of accolades and props for his continued work in the community toolkit. He doesn't get paid for this, but he is active over here all the time. And you can tell that he has gotten some interesting requests from his customers because he does really convenient, interesting things like this. So essentially, as the value of your text field changes, then it triggers animations, which is something that you can see in Comet. James Clancy has done this in Comet. I don't know if it's in the current version. It was in a previous version, but where you have a subtle transition when the value of something changes. But here you can do it with your Xamarin.Forms. So that's pretty cool. And you have a couple of options for how quickly it transitions and what the different transition types are: fading, moving in from the left, moving in from the right, all that sort of thing. Kind of like a PowerPoint. Kind of seems like, right? PowerPoint for your Xamarin.Forms. This one, I almost screamed out loud when I saw it because I am so annoyed with when you put an image in your background. And I did this on the Conference Vision app way back. Do you guys remember the conference? Nobody remembers the Conference Vision. Microsoft.
No, what are you talking about?
Conference. This is probably before your time. It's when it's gone. They moved it. They archived it. Well, I'll have to find it and dig it up. But it's an app where I had a background image that was like a beautiful texture and everything. But the thing is, you couldn't control the aspect of it. And so this is a beautiful effect for when you put an image in the background and you can control the aspect fill and everything. So that's really nice. You could, of course, and this is an effect, so you could have done this at the native level with a custom renderer or something like that. But now you've got an effect that is coming to the toolkit, and you can do it right here. And so this is from Axmaster. I don't know Axmaster's real name, but he's in the UK, and I would imagine he plays guitar, probably Axmaster, right? So,
like your Lego, also you, but more importantly, your Lego.
Right. Yeah. There you go. I do have an axe there, don't I? Yeah. Look at that beautiful axe. And there's actually another one. Oh, here it is. Hang on.
And we lost him. Oh, there you go.
I like the red one.
The red one. Yeah. It's definitely more of an axe. It's definitely, it's that kind of a kiss, get a kiss vibe from that thing. All right. Okay, so moving over to Xamarin.Forms, we have a service release underway, and I think we're hoping by Friday of this week to wrap things up and try to get this thing tagged and out, starting to move out the door. Once we pass all the tests and everything, then it goes to QA, and then it gets published. So if you're interested and you've been looking for some fixes coming to a service release, this is your place to track those items and see what is meeting the bar for a service release for 5.0. Let's see here. And then moving on to MAUI. So MAUI Preview 5 is out. I was totally goofing around, Maddy, during your segment. Did you show the blog post for the Preview 5?
No, I don't think I did. Oh my goodness.
Devblogs.net.
Put it in the chat.
Preview 5. So this was a demo I was going to show, but then I was like, oh, Maddy will definitely do the blog. And then she didn't do the blog. So here you go. So in Preview 5, one of the more notable things that was introduced for MAUI is animation and transform support. So that is now in, and you can coordinate different kinds of animations like that. I'm just doing a simple fade in using the view extensions that are available in C#. And there's the code showing it. So my transition in is for each of those items. Doing a fade 2. The fade goes from 0 to 1. Everything starts at 0. And then over 800 milliseconds, it's going to do the fade. And then I do a task delay to create that kind of waterfall cascading effect that you've been seeing. right? Sweet.
Nice.
And if you go check out Javier Suarez Ruiz's XAML animation library, which will be coming, I would imagine, to MAUI, and maybe we can bring it into MAUI. But it gives you the ability to do all that stuff at the XAML layer too. Oh, let's see here. And then so that's animations. We also did update and complete several UI components. So the work that has been happening is moving the renderers from Xamarin.Forms into the new handler architecture, which adopts the fast renderer approach to things. So there's less layers of UI views. And then also just kind of makes everything much more bite-sized and less dependent on iNotify property change and things like that. So activity indicator, checkbox, image, stepper, and shapes are all complete. And if you look at our status page, which is one of my other links here, you can see what is complete and what is underway and what has not yet been started. Flyout page should be done soon and part of preview 6. Some of these things, like, for example, borders and corner radius stuff, you'll see throughout, they're all incomplete. The reason being is because the approach we're going to take in MAUI will apply to everything. And so you will be able to, on pretty much any control, any layout, you'll be able to apply borders, corners, and shadows. Now, when you do this on a control that doesn't natively have those features, those capabilities, then we will wrap it in a container and do essentially what everybody has been doing today, which is wrap it in a frame or a pancake view and apply those different effects to it. Or what is the one that JM has? Sharpnado. There's a Sharpnado. I don't remember what he calls his control. He doesn't use the pancake naming scheme, the food naming scheme that Stephen does. So one other thing I did want to call out here, I just did this morning, kind of did some rearranging. So these controls, carousel, collection, indicator, map, refresh view, those lost souls? No, they're not lost souls. But these were built more recently, and so they already have the fast renderer architecture. Map, not so much. Map is a separate NuGet package, but the rest of them do. And so in the interest of shipping all the functionality necessary and important for making good apps, we're not going to initially port these to the handler architecture, so they will still be renderer based. You'll still, of course, be able to write custom renderers if you should need them. But our time is better spent for the .NET 6 release on improving all the controls and polishing up our quality and working towards better performance and things like that. So one slight deviation from the original plan, which was to, by .NET 6, move everything over to handlers. We're now saying, okay, let's prioritize what's important to you, to the customers, and to developers. And so it's not the consistent everything's a handler story that we were hoping for in .NET 6, but that's why we have .NET 7. We're already thinking about 7 and 8, maybe even 9. So that's cool. All right. So what else do I have here I wanted to mention? Oh, the reason I brought this up is Lutz Roeder, who is on the .NET team and has worked on .NET for a very long time. I think he's like a WPF guy. I know he wrote like the reflection stuff, and like he's been around forever, but he looks really young, so he's obviously not that old.
It's Lutz's secret. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has experience of 100-year-old developer, and he looks very young.
Well, and the great thing is that he has been taking a look at MAUI and been contributing on his own time. Love it, an internal contributor to an open source project. And one of the things he's looked at is, what does the developer guide look like for getting started with .NET MAUI as a contributor? And so he kind of helped us to clean up our README and work out some of these steps and things like this. And I myself just ran through these steps this morning. So we have a cake script. So you can very easily, with two quick, swift stroked commands, get your whole environment set up to contribute to MAUI. Which I highly recommend doing this. Don't just go open the solution in Visual Studio and expect things to work, because there are some things that need to get set up and building before you can do that. So just grab these, run these, and everything will get set up. You'll get a beautiful, dump of all the wonderful things that the Cake script does for you. And at the end of it, it'll pop open Visual Studio and you're good to go. And so I actually did that. And to show you some of the cool things happening inside of the MAUI repo, I wanted to show you the new control gallery that Javier has been putting together. And I'm going to take my control gallery and the things that I've been working on for like different Fluent UI styling and things like that. And I'm going to introduce those things here as well. So this is a great starting point for looking at what MAUI has available to you today. So in terms of compatibility and all the things that you can do, you can explore this. I don't know why in my emulator the fonts are so small. That's something I'll need to look at. But you can come in here, and I shouldn't probably click on things that I haven't clicked on before, because not everything is. Yeah, I shouldn't have clicked on carousel view. What was I thinking? Go back. So within here, you can find all of this stuff underneath controls, samples. And if you go look in just the main samples project, which I was just inside of, it is a MAUI application. So you have your main app, and then you have the startup. The startup is what I have here. It uses the same Microsoft Extensions host builder pattern that we're using in our templates now. We call use MAUI app, and that is going to wire up everything for us. We do have some existing compatibility renderer examples in here. And then we have some other, test things that we're doing. So for example, there's a use borderless entry, which apparently brings in a massive amount of controls, because we're going to test what happens when you bring in a massive amount of controls.
Massive.
It's a massive amount of, oh, wow, I just hit my caps lock. Massive amount of controls. That comment just cracked me up for some reason. It's the weekend almost. And it has Blazor WebView stuff in here and everything as well. So it's a great resource to not only just explore what we're doing visually, and you can just kind of see things at work and kind of keep up to date with what's there and what's yet to come. But you also have all the code here, and you can go check this stuff out as well. So, and very nicely organized. Gestures, for example, are coming in Preview 6. Most, if not all of these gestures will light up in Preview 6, and that's just a few weeks away. Because if you haven't noticed, we've been shipping .NET 6 previews once a month. All right, what were the other things? Oops, I'm gonna have to do it this way. What were the other things I had here to share with everybody? I kind of showed you already where all the samples code is, but this is it in the repository. And then last but not least, I wanted to call attention to the Microsoft MAUI Graphics controls and the Microsoft MAUI Graphics repositories. So these are two repositories. The graphics one has the cross-platform graphics API for drawing and colors and paint brushes and all that sort of thing, where you can use the native drawing libraries or you can use Skia Sharp. And then the graphics controls is based on top of that, where it's creating handlers for all the different controls, both as pure drawn controls, but also as hybrid controls. So you can do things like layer all your design on top of a native entry, because you might want the benefit of using the native entry with keyboard events and accessibility and things like that, but you want to have full control of the styling of it. So that's what this library is. And if you go check out Javier's Twitter, you'll see that he regularly posts animations and GIFs and things like that that show what it does. But of course, you can see some of it here as well. So if this is something that's of interest to you, please go follow, watch the repos, contribute, join in the conversation. Let us know what you want to do here. If you are interested in seeing a web backend and or Linux support for .NET MAUI, those are both related to these projects, because having these things in place will get us to those platforms much more quickly. All right, I think that's it for me. I think it's now time for the special guest.
For the live preview of live preview, you mean?
I am very excited about live preview. And if you know anything about us, you know that the best features we ever ship start with the word live or hot. So if you could figure out how to get hot involved with the live preview, it could be a hot live preview or maybe even a live hot preview. I don't know. The order is up to you. It's your thing, but just I'm throwing it out there.
All right.
Pretty good.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me here today. I'm super excited to be a part of Xamarin MAUI community stand-up. I am a huge fan of this product, and the feature I'm going to show today is applicable for MAUI as well as WPF and basically all XAML-based languages. And let me share my screen. While I do that, I saw some folks from Ukraine saying hi, Bogdan. Hi, Bogdan. Hello, Brazil.
Just got some live hot coffee on his desk. I like that.
Nice. Yes, but do you have a mustache on your cup?
Oh, that's so cool. I do have this sticker my sister brought me, but that's it.
All right.
She went to Maui for like a real vacation, not related to my job, but she brought me back a sticker, so that was nice.
That's so nice.
All right.
All right. So what I have here, Visual Studio WPF application. Let me run this app and show you. And when we run this app, I usually have the separate window. This is my window. I move it to a different screen. And sometimes I don't have more than one screen. Sometimes I want to save some space. So we introduced a feature called Live Preview that brings your running application inside Visual Studio. Let me first just open Winstar Family. That is a family show. So if you guys are fans of the Crown TV show, there you go. And now I'm going to move my real application away. And let's look at Visual Studio. So here, I have this window Live Preview. And it's a usual, like, basic Visual Studio window, so I can move it anywhere. I can dock it, resize, and so on. I can, to enable it, that is a preview feature. So to enable that in the next Visual Studio that is coming, you can go to Tools, Options, Preview Features. Let me just type that in. And here, find Live Preview for XAML. I promise it's here. Yeah, Live Preview. Click it, restart Visual Studio, and then you'll be able to get it here. So what does it do? And it's work in progress. I'm working on the latest bits, so not everything is working without bugs, but we're fixing them every day. And here you can see my running application, plus additional features to make your UI pixel perfect. For example, I can zoom in to my real running application. Then I can add some rulers to align my elements. Let's say I want to measure the icon. I can add horizontal and vertical rulers. Good. Okay. I can select my elements and I can show info tips for them. Let me check in 1 second.
I love preview features.
Right. Okay. I probably grabbed not the best build, but anyways, would you believe me if I said it was working right before the show?
Oh, of course. Well, that's how it always happens. If it doesn't work, right before, then it will totally work when you actually need to do it. But if it does work, it never works.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay. So now let's select something, and you can see that in your Lab Visual tree.
Nice.
Then I can go to source. I can see that code in source. I can change it. The changes will be reflected right there. And I can also see info tips.
And so that change is being updated with the hot reload feature, right? But
Right.
so it's working
Absolutely.
together with the live preview.
Yeah. So we
So
have
it really
hot
is
reload.
a hot live preview at that point.
There you go.
Okay.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
We have hot reload, live preview, and live visual tree, all features that help you to design your UI, work with the application, be more productive, kind of like fill in all gaps. So the last thing I wanted to show, info tips, that's it will show you all the information about your UI, the color, the size, font, etc. And you can go ahead in your code, change it. The changes will take place right away, and so on. Of course, work in progress. We're fixing issues, making it more stable, but with the next Visual Studio 17 Preview 2, this feature will be available. So check it out. Help us report in issues and let us know what you think. Let us know if you want to add any additional capabilities, if that's helpful. If not, yeah, feedback is very welcome. I think that is it from my side. Thank you so much. I saw a question earlier in the chat about should I move from ClickOnce to MSIX? And that is a good topic. I think that topic deserves a separate talk at our community stand-up and a separate blog post. Right now, I'll just say that ClickOnce now is available in .NET 5. So if you love it and you want to move forward to .NET 5, .NET 6, you don't have to change it. You can keep using ClickOnce. If you love MSIX, go ahead and use that. We also have amazing third-party options for deployment, such as Squirrel. And yeah, use whatever you like, and hopefully everything works great. We are trying to integrate all options into WPF WinForms applications.
Cool.
So this is a VS 2022 feature, right?
Yes.
And it's in preview 1 right now on Windows.
It will be in preview 2.
Okay, so it doesn't go up until preview 2. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I got the latest build, as you can see.
Yeah, no, I've been writing the very latest build as well. I have a main branch feed into my veins right now to test all the latest hot things that our team has been working on for MAUI. So that's really cool. So this is in preview 2. It's going to be WPF. And what all platforms are on the roadmap to be supported with this feature?
We're planning to support MAUI, so we're planning to support Android emulator, iOS emulator, and then eventually Android, iOS devices.
Okay, so is that just the iOS remote simulator on Windows, or will this all work on Mac as well?
So this is a plugin for Visual Studio right now, and we're looking at Visual Studio for Mac as well.
Okay, cool. But that's, I mean, obviously they're about a step behind of where VS 2022 is right now. And they're working on, I know, moving all the VS Mac UI to Cocoa native stuff using .NET Tech, which is awesome. Same stuff that powers MAUI. And so, yeah, what you're saying is we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. Maddy, do you have a question?
I don't know. What other questions do we have in the chat? I'm so excited to see this kind of come to fruition, because I remember like a year ago, Dimitri being like, "Oh yeah, Olia's working on this like live preview thing. Like we're just kind of doing it." And I was like, "Cool, sounds great. When do I get it? Is it gonna happen?" And then it was kind of like, "Yeah, like eventually." And now it's like real and
it just showed up. I remember those old conversations and being like, because we had, you know, the Xamarin.Forms previewer. And then this thing's called live preview. And we're like, well, what's the difference? And then we have this live visual tree. Again, live is in the name of everything. Yeah, so it's nice to see this stuff materializing, and I'm super excited to get my hands on it.
Engineering team does absolutely amazing job, and they're submitting PRs like every few hours. I get like, oh, there is another PR. Info tips are there. There's that feature is there. So yeah, it's
nice.
It's super.
I saw Tim in the chat trying to debug why things weren't working already. So that's
I saw classic. That too. And I saw Fritz's questions about the versions, because Olia, when you were introducing it, you actually said Visual Studio 2017.
Oh, and did I?
You did, because you were thinking Dev 17 and
exactly.
VS, right? And for those who don't know our internal stuff, like what you have right now, VS 2019 is the Dev 16 wave of releases, and now we're moving into the Dev 17 wave of releases. So we have internal numbering. It shows up in our versioning, right? Because when you look at the version of VS 2019 you're on, it's 16.11 preview, whatever, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
When I first joined Microsoft, man, the numbers that were thrown out in meetings and the acronyms, I was just like, I don't know what anybody's saying. It might as well be Ukrainian to me.
Well, Olia knows all the VS versions too, so maybe we can translate that as well. Okay, hold on. Questions in the chat. Anyway, we might get a test on VS Mac in the foreseeable future. Yes, we're working on it like right now, because believe it or not, the Xamarin and MAUI teams also use our products to develop our products. So the former Xamarin.Forms and now .NET MAUI team has been asking for VS Mac support for quite a while, and we're working on it. And there are some bits that are working, and some bits that will be working in the near future. But it'll all be in Visual Studio for Mac 2022. So once those previews kind of start rolling out, you'll see more and more of that. And Cliff had a great question in the chat that I wish I had an answer for. Are there any plans from the MAUI team to be able to target the new Android app system built into Windows 11? So, like, are there plans? Yeah. Do we know how yet, or if it's going to work? Like, no. So we're on the same kind of previews as everybody else right now. We definitely think it's possible. So we'll just have to see what we can do. But yeah,
what would you do if you were us, Cliff? What would you do if you were us?
That would be so cool, though. I mean, Android emulators have gotten a lot better over the years, but if we could just not use an emulator at all, that'd be pretty good.
So back to my earlier comment about how the Catalyst experience is the fastest dev interloop you would imagine. On Windows, of course, it's WinUI. And not Project Reunion. It's now called Windows App SDK. So I don't know what the acronym short version of that name is going to be, but yeah, very exciting stuff. When we have a plan, we'll share it with you. But right now, there's no official plan to ship anything.
Oh, a question from Almir. Do we think .NET MAUI will be production ready when it ships in November?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we won't ship it if it's not.
Exactly. That's the dream. I think Jeff had asked a little bit ago in the chat if now is a good preview to start like live streaming, kind of like real development. I would say like preview 5 is pretty solid. I've seen some pretty good like demos and stuff of it. I haven't seen any like customers actually try to rebuild their stuff yet. Upgrade Assistant, which we talked about for a minute earlier, and hopefully we'll have more details to come. We're targeting currently preview 6. So that might be the first time you can run your app through the Upgrade Assistant and see what happens. But
yeah, I agree with that. Preview 5 has all the controls, whether they're ported controls, or because when you see my status updates, you see that there's work to be done, right? But those features are actually there for most of the controls because they're shimmed in from Xamarin.Forms renderers.
Right.
I think what's really lacking right now to make it a great experience is we need those VS releases. We need the XAML hot reload and the .NET hot reload to appear. And then, of course, on the Mac side, we need the whole IDE experience to make that a usable, delightful experience. So that's why we work so closely with the tooling teams and the what we used to call it XAML experiences team. What's the new name of the team?
Visual Studio Client Experiences.
Client experience.
And by client, we mean desktop and mobile. And if anyone can think of a better single word that encompasses desktop and mobile app, please let me know, because I hate the word client, but it's the best one we have.
Yeah, it's yeah. I agree. A better word needs to appear. I don't know what it is either.
Dave, if you wanted the community's help with something, we have a great question from Samir. What aspects of MAUI would it be?
I think that the area that could use the most help, the reason that I'm not going to suggest getting into the MAUI repo right now is because we really just need to move. It's the review process, and the quality aspect of things. It just takes a while. So there's a very measured pace and capacity from the team to get all that work in. So I wouldn't recommend at this point doing any contributing in the MAUI repo. We'll let everybody know when we're ready to ramp up community contributions there. I would say the graphics controls. Go find out what you can do to support that work, because it's very exciting work that benefits not only MAUI, but also the Comet experiment and anything else we do there. It's where you'll actually see some activity in the graphics and the graphics controls repos from the Tizen Samsung team. So there's some really exciting things happening there, and I would love to see more community involvement. Yeah, I mean, it's that work right there has a lot of performance benefit for all apps, as well as a lot of that pixel perfect design goal that a lot of apps have. So
cool.
And MAUI-Forms repo is very open for community contributions. That is the repo where we received so much help from folks. I don't know the current number, but in the first 6 months, we got about 500 PRs.
Oh, wow.
Committed, that we accepted. Some of them are minor, some of them are like unit tests or some typos, some better, code cleanup. But yeah, we received so much help. So if there are any MAUI-Forms contributors, thank you guys so much. You're amazing. They also get some big features. The first control that we added, like a new control to MAUI-Forms after years of not adding anything, was from our open source contributor, Konstantin Preiser from Germany. Yeah, that was a task dialogue.
Yeah, it's awesome to work in the open source.
Yeah, it's been fun. So, okay, we have more questions. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to catch up. Will MAUI help in testing an iOS app on Windows and on Mac? It'll have the same stuff that Xamarin.Forms has, so it'll have hot restart. We'll have pair to Mac. These things we always want to continue to make better, but MAUI itself, like .NET 6 timeframe, there's nothing new. Just that the old stuff should work. So
yeah, you should drop a link to the hot restart stuff, because I think I was talking to a customer this week, very large customer, and they had no idea that hot restart was a thing. So it's got hot in the name, so it's got to be good. But yeah, it's the ability for you to connect any iOS device directly to your Windows machine, and you can do your day-to-day development with that. It works with hot reload, works with Xamarin.Forms, and it will work with MAUI. So that is your best option for doing iOS development on your Windows machine without a Mac. Once you do go to build and publish that to devices and distribute it, you are going to need a Mac to do that, whether it's a hosted Mac or it's, we're looking at what this Xcode cloud build stuff is, and if that's something that we can benefit and leverage. But we already have hosted build solutions out there with Azure DevOps, and you can connect your GitHub directly to that. So that is definitely available to you, and you can be using that today.
Yeah. And Brian just put in the chat that if you have special entitlements, it may not work, which is true. So one of the features we want to build for hot restart is the ability to basically rebuild like the shell of the app. So it will rebuild it on a Mac with the special entitlements and with static libraries and everything that is currently not supported. And then we'll spit it back over to the Windows so you can continue to develop without the Mac being paired. Gerald, thank you for being around in the chat because you're answering a bunch of questions. Real quickly, Xamarin will be supported until November 2022. And it will be up to date with the iOS and Androids that come out this summer. So you don't have to move to Maui before the holiday season or anything if you're worried about that. Any boilerplate templates available for Maui. So the templates are in .NET 6 right now. So if you use Maui check and you hit .NET new, the Maui templates will show up. So check that one out for sure. So many chats. XAML designer / previewer questions. We don't have any updates on that right now. Definitely use Hot Reload if you can. And if Hot Reload is missing something, let us know. Because as much as we can build into Hot Reload, the better. I mean, ideally, we could have all the tools in the world, but right now we're just trying to get everything to work with on it. We don't want to create a whole new designer or preview or anything, and that because we're focusing on that, not be able to do other things like let your Maui apps build in VS. So it's a bunch of trade-offs. What else?
Also, if I can just add to that, one idea that we had that maybe with live preview and hot reload, you guys won't need the previewer. So try that and let us know. And if there's something like you still see like, oh no, I absolutely missed that feature, it's not the equivalent, please let us know. Because we want to build what you need. But maybe, just maybe, live preview and hot reload will be just perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good point. I was like, we should, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Was I driving through a tunnel for a bit? Oh boy.
Yeah, your audio kind of went wonky there for a moment, but you're back.
Sorry.
You're good.
I'm back. Also, why is there Mario in the background? Because it's great. If you haven't played Mario Golf yet, it's pretty fun. I would definitely recommend.
Am I disrespecting Mario? Hang on
I know. I know. It was a very technical question I got. There's a bunch of positive comments. You know how to find us. Tweet us. Our Twitters are up here. Email us. Maddy@Microsoft.com is mine. Find us wherever else you find people on the internet. I'm sure we're out there somewhere. But thank you all so much for joining. Olia, thank you for coming on and demoing for us. Dave, thanks for, as always, the amazing Maui updates. And yeah, cool. It's July 1st, everybody. Enjoy the month. We'll see you the first Thursday of August. We'll see Olia later this month at the Windows community stand-up that she does, that she hosts like third Thursday of the month.
Yeah, that's third Thursday.
So you can come visit and say hi there. And of course, keep your eye out for the next .NET 6 previews. So,
Hey.
Yay!
Thank you so
All
much.
right, everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.